Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of June. It's hump day, which is always nice. Should be downhill after today. Hopefully the weather is going to cooperate. I'm Betty Johnson, your host. Glad to have you along. Of course, we know a lot of you are joining us on Charter Channel 8, where we can be seen 6 days a week. We're also out there on the internet on several places. You can catch us on Facebook as well as blip.tv.com and YouTube, or you can do a Google search on Facebook. And if you like us, there'll be a direct link to the new show each day on your Facebook. And as always, we do welcome any questions or comments you may have, especially if you have any ideas for some guests or some topics. All you have to do is contact our producer, Leanne Alt. You can do that via email at owatonnatoday@charter.net, or by contacting Leanne at 390-5751. Another great show in store for you today. We're going to be talking with Tanya Paley from the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. And then there's going to be a calendar with firemen coming out. Yeah, I'm anxious to hear what that is too. So we will find out all about that on the other side of the break, so please stay with us.
Hello, I'm Sean McNulty.
And I'm Deb Gillard with Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clarebridge of Owatonna.
And we are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltfett of Horizon Eye Care Professionals. Eye care you can trust. We're proud supporters of Owatonna Today.
We are back with our guest, Tanya Paley, who is with the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. Always nice to have you along. So many important things to talk about, Tanya.
Yes.
And with summer coming up, there is something particular that is going to be happening, or maybe not. We'll have to see that there is a move for our parks. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes. So we have started quite a conversation about whether our parks should go completely tobacco-free here in Owatonna. Actually, Blooming Prairie made the decision to go tobacco-free, I think probably 6-7 weeks ago, and they put an ad in the paper, so Blooming Prairie parks are tobacco-free.
Huh?
They are, yes. And this was the idea of our Youth Advisory Board, which is basically high school students from Blooming Prairie, from Owatonna, and from Medford. And they got together and they said, you know, we really don't like the fact that there's cigarette trash all over our parks.
There's a lot of, you ride on the bike and there's cigarette butts.
Yep, and you know, our parks are supposed to be healthy places, and here there's a lot of this cigarette litter. They also talked about the fact that you go to the parks and you see young people, maybe young adults, maybe older teens smoking, and it sets a bad example for the kids in the parks. And then finally, they talked about breathing that smoke. We know more now about even outside you can get secondhand smoke. They went through a whole process, Betty, of park cleanups and surveys at the fair last year, and really gathering support for this idea of tobacco-free parks. And those of you that read the Owatonna People's Press have probably seen a couple of articles recently about this. We've kind of gotten a little bit of pushback and also support, and so I thought it would be helpful.
You expected that, though, didn't you? You're going to have pros and cons on both sides. You have,
Yep. We know, and I want to say up front, it's really not about taking away the rights of smokers. We already have public places. A lot of public places have already gone smoke-free because of health reasons, and because we know that we don't want to harm other people in order to exercise our rights. And so that's what really, that's really what it's about.
And see, that's the term you used when you said exercise, because there's tennis courts and the people are out there trying to play tennis or pickleball or whatever, and
Right.
baseball diamonds nearby. Now over at Lincoln, there's that soccer complex there,
Yep.
the baseball diamond,
Sure.
and there's paths through there, and there's people walking and biking, and you have someone smoking there when some people are trying to work out, or kids there.
Yep.
It's definitely can be a hazard, especially in Owatonna. Some of our parks are basically just playgrounds.
Right. And
Well,
I
our
have had
kids.
parents come up and talk to me and say, I really appreciate this idea because, I don't feel comfortable going up and talking to smokers about not smoking, but it's right in my kid's face kind of thing. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
So one of the things, so I understand smokers may not like this idea, and obviously it's less convenient for them to have to cross the street or leave the park in order to have a cigarette, and I do get that. But one of the other things that we've been hearing that I wanted to address is maybe this isn't even strong enough of a step, and that was actually the editorial in the Owatonna People's Press saying, that they called it a waste of time to do a policy rather than an ordinance. And without getting into too much detail, the difference between a policy and an ordinance is that an ordinance would be something that you would get a ticket for, or you would get ejected from the park, and it would actually be enforced by our local police department, or
Which means they would have to patrol more,
Right.
and we don't have that
Yeah.
many officers that can just.
Right. So, the reason that we went with the idea of a policy is, number one, this is not a new idea. 150 other communities in Minnesota have done this, and they've done this with a lot of success. So, that's one thing I just want to make sure everybody understands is, this isn't some crazy idea we cooked up on our own. We really looked at what other communities were doing. And so what you do is you put up signs, and the signs say, tobacco-free parks. And then, first of all, we know smokers are, they're used to looking for those signs. Can I smoke here? Is that, allowed? And it is, of course, public property. And so I think they're getting more used to this idea that, schools, we can't smoke at the schools. We can't smoke at, you can't smoke at Target Field anymore. So, they're used to that idea of, hey, can I smoke here or not? So we know that most smokers are going to be considered, and then they're going to follow that signage. And we also know, as we were saying, there are some that probably won't.
And I think it empowers probably the parent more if they're out at the playground.
Yep.
And they see somebody smoking, and you're outside. You can go ask them, but you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get. This way, if it says on there, you can at least politely go and say,
would you mind?
Please not smoking. And if they aren't aware of it, you can point that out.
Sure.
And I think generally most people, I wasn't aware of that. And it's going to take a while, I think, before people become aware.
Sure.
Or even notice the signs. If you go into this park a lot, how many times something can be new and we're so used to just, going by and not noticing it.
Sure.
And that.
Well, and, it's not just me. I have a community coalition behind me, and we'll help spread the word about, the change in the parks. So, I think it's a positive step that we as a community can take. We can say our parks are healthy places to be. We want them to be positive places to be. We have such great parks here, Betty. I mean, I love our parks, and I know a lot of our residents love our parks. And, as you were saying, I like to run through the trails there, and I don't like running past a smoker.
And the bike trails. Yeah.
Yep.
And like I said, too, seeing the trail littered with cigarette butts.
Yep.
It costs more for to parks system to keep them clean.
That's true too.
And that too as
Yep,
well. And that's
the picking up.
taxpayers' dollars as well.
That's absolutely right. So, one of the things I guess I would like our listeners to know is if you have any questions about this issue of tobacco-free parks, certainly feel free to contact me, and my contact information I know will come up at the end of the program. But my office is at the United Way, and you can always contact me there if you have any questions about this policy. And then if this is a policy that you would really like to see in Owatonna, our City Council is going to be voting on it on June 18th. So, we all have City Council members, so contact your City Council member and let I was going to say him or her, but we don't have any women on our city council
don't
right
anymore,
now.
do we?
No, so let him know how you feel about this, and because of course they want to do what the community wants them to do.
Well, they're representing the community. Yes,
Yep.
they do need to. And now, of course, there's going to be some opposition.
Sure.
And
Yep.
that. But now you said Blooming Prairie has done it for, 6 or 7 weeks, and there's probably not enough time to get a lot of feedback, but I'm sure there must have been some feedback, so you have that
Right.
to go off of and say,
Yep.
well, in a small town of Blooming Prairie, this
Sure.
is what's been going on.
And we've been talking a lot about Owatonna, but Medford is also considering
Okay.
this as well. And so there was some coverage about them actually not passing it, but that's not true. They sent it back to Park and Rec, and they'll be looking at it at the end of the month. So, I think it would be really exciting if, for 4th of July we had tobacco.
Yes.
I don't know how soon they'll put it into place. That's up to the city council. But, we're excited about this, and we're also excited that it really was an idea that came from our youth, and that they've been working so hard on
That is the
it.
positive thing. That
Yep.
is the positive, yes.
And they did all the presentations to the city councils and the park and rec boards, so that was really exciting to see and a great experience for them. So
It was, yeah.
yeah, so if you've got young people that you think would be interested in being part of our youth advisory board, I've already been asked what's next after we pass this, and that's up to them, but the idea is to take some projects like this and work with the coalition, and so we'll be starting that back up in the fall. So if you have young people, tuck that idea away and send them our way. We'd love to have more of them involved.
Even there, certain parks, I don't go to a lot of them all the time, but there's probably favorite parks that families go to,
Sure.
and stay away from other parks because they know that might be where there might be more smokers.
That
and
could
this
well
way,
be.
you might be able to. It's like we were talking, beforehand, when they had the ordinance go through Minneapolis for non-smoking in bars.
Yep.
They were concerned that they would lose business, and it actually increased business.
Yep. And that's
hopefully
now a statewide thing that you
So
can't.
hopefully it'll be increased participation.
Yeah, I think it could be a very positive thing for our parks.
So if this goes through the 18th, then we're anxious to hear from you when it's going to be implemented.
We'll come back and we'll talk about that next time, maybe.
Oh, great idea. Thank you. Tanya Paley with the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition, and always great to hear from you and all the things you've got going on. We know you're making a difference in the community, and we thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you very much.
We're going to take a break to hear from some of our sponsors who make this show possible, and when we come back, we're going to talk about that calendar I was telling you about. So stay with us.
I'm Diane Wilson of Profinium Financial, the bank that helps you achieve your financial dreams. Profinium Financial is proud to be a supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Everyone deserves opportunities to have a good life, a quality education that leads to a stable job, enough income to support a family through retirement, and good health. But the reality is, many children fall behind, many families are struggling, and many others are in poor health. United Way's goal is to find long-term solutions. Thanks to a grant from the Otto Bremer Foundation, we're hosting community conversations this year to address these issues. If you'd like to join us, please call our office.
Hi, I'm Rick Smith, Golf Course Superintendent of the Brooktree Golf Course. Brooktree is an 18-hole championship golf course featuring well-manicured greens, tees, and fairways. We are open to the public. I challenge you to find a better maintained golf course for the money we charge here at Brooktree. Come on out and play Brooktree, a great golf course.
Hi, this is Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better. At Amy Swain Hearing Centers, we offer many different brands of hearing instruments because everyone has a different lifestyle. Let me, Dr. Amy Swain, help you find the best hearing device for your hearing needs at Amy Swain Hearing Centers of Owatonna, Austin, and Waseca. Call 1-800-804-3361 for an appointment today, or visit my website at www.amyswainhearingcenters.com. Because you deserve to hear better.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
We are back, and as I promised, we're going to be talking calendar. Fireman's calendar, to be exact. Can you get a close-up of this, Leanne? I think this is a great idea, but it's not just a calendar. There is a purpose behind it, and a reason. Is that a lot of work to get that there? We want to get a good. There we go. Now that's just the cover. And we've got some very tasteful pictures done on the inside, and we're going to talk about that with our guest, Rhonda Haried, who was, did I say it right?
Yep.
Haried, who it was her brainchild, and Angela Dobberstein did the photography, and then we have one of the firemen with us, Kelly Hanson. So thanks for joining us, and this is a fun project. First of all, Rhonda, how did all this come about?
Well, my sister has multiple myeloma. It's bone marrow cancer.
It's a
She's had it
cancer,
for about 10.5 years. And I just thought it would be a great fundraiser for cancer research to help keep things going in that direction.
And it was successful with that?
Yes, we had a kickoff night in Geneva on Friday night, a calendar kickoff night. Most of the models were there, and they signed as people bought the calendars. And
Did you have like cancer survivors then, or who is the topic of the cancer?
Well, my sister is one of the cancer survivors.
Okay.
And I think there was a few other ones there.
So is this for the cancer research?
This is, yes.
Okay, I guess
we're selling. Yep.
This is for the cancer research. All
yes. Right. So we did the calendars up for cancer research. Monies will be turned in at the end of the year. And
so what made you come up with the idea of using firemen as your topic?
Well, they're not all firemen. We did the 1 month firemen, which was October. And the other gentlemen are farmers or guys that are working in businesses and things like that.
Specify. It says hot looks for a cure. So hot looks can mean any. I guess because you had Kelly here, I was thinking it was a
that was the reason,
calendar because you got the beefcake there, but not quite. But it's a very.
Oh, that's good.
Well, hey, you got to push it. I mean, you look at the cover, and that's what you're going to think. But as you look through, there's beautiful colored pictures in this and that. So, how did you get the volunteers first? Did you have to twist the arms to get?
A little twisting, and when you kind of told them what it was about, they were more than happy to do it. And Angela had a wonderful idea. Every month, the guy that was featured in that month, they were able to honor a loved one that either passed from cancer or is still fighting for cancer. So,
and that wouldn't be hard to find.
Right.
Yeah, connected with that.
That was great.
First of all, we should mention they don't have all their clothes off. It's not quite that kind of calendar. It's done very tastefully with a little tongue-in-cheek in this and that. And now, when are these? You said it got kicked off in Geneva. Was the first sale?
On Friday night.
Friday night. Now, where can these be purchased?
At the hot tanning salons in Owatonna.
Okay.
And the bowling alley will have some, and we're looking at possibly the Eagles. And then they're around the area, like at the Geneva Bar and Grill and the Blooming Prairie Times and the New Richland Star Eagle. At my shop in Allendale, it Looks Unlimited. And
Gopher Stop North.
Gopher Stop North.
The Poorhouse in Clark's Grove.
Yes.
And when? How much do these sell for?
$20.
Okay, and these are for next year, of course.
Yes.
Since we're halfway through. So now, Angela, what did you think when she approached you with this idea?
I was totally shocked, first of all, that she approached me. But it is a project that I am just so honored to have played a part in. Because these guys, and Kelly will attest to this, when they came into my studio to have their photographs taken, they were all just scared out of their minds.
Say, were they a little shy?
They were very, very nervous when they came in.
Don't worry, I got a big fig leaf. You won't have to.
Yes. Like you mentioned, all of the pictures, they are all shirtless men, but they are all very tastefully done. The calendar is very, very classy. I am very happy with how it turned out, and I think all the models by the time we were done said, well, that wasn't that bad.
So who came up with the idea of some of the pictures? Do you want to show some of the pictures that we have here? The first one in January is Jason.
Yeah. Jason is an electrician from Southern Minnesota Electric, based out of Geneva, and he volunteered for the calendar, so we did get him in here, and he modeled in honor of Matt Felt, who was a young man that passed away of cancer in the Geneva area.
And he's got some equipment there with him.
Yep, we tried to highlight, what each of the guys was about and get their personality involved in the camera, as well as just maintaining our idea of that we wanted all the guys to have the similar look of the no shirts and the black pants to keep it classy, but yet again still trying to work in their personalities with it.
A little bit of tattoos there.
Yeah.
Some flowers, yeah. And
This is the Owatonna Firefighters calendar. We did give them October for their month because it is Fire Prevention Month.
Great idea.
So we did think through some different things like that, as well as we were assigning the months. And we do have
It's nice
Kelly.
because you have, in the background too, a painter picture.
Yeah.
On the side, so
Yeah.
yeah. Now, did they come up with the pose? Who comes up with the pose and designed each? They walk in the studio. Do you have it already decided how they're going to pose, or you try different poses? Or?
We had a lot of ideas. Rhonda and I looked through a lot of different things and made some plans, but a lot of it was based on what the guys were comfortable doing, how they fell into poses and looked natural, and what kind of props we had to work with each guy, all just worked into the equation.
So what did they say when you showed them the finished product? What was their response?
They actually didn't see it until Friday night when it was released. So what did you think, Kelly?
I just was, wow, this is awesome. I mean, going back to what she was saying, walking into her studio, it was like, what are we getting into here?
They had their shirts up to here.
Yeah. Shirts are buttoned all the way up and no,
stiff.
open up. But you made us feel comfortable. I mean, the poses, we spent about an hour and a half.
Oh, really? That long?
Yeah, just to get basically one or two pictures. Took numerous pictures, but throughout it, you just got a little more comfortable. And
As you
the
went
mood,
along?
yeah, the mood got more enjoyable. I mean, you had fun, but
They loosened.
Friday night when the calendar came out, it was just
and
amazing.
you weren't by yourself. You had some of your coworkers with too, so
That made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
As the older of the three. Because we had one that Dalton is...
I think the youngest was around 19, and the
19.
oldest gentleman was 50. And they
And
all
that's
looked
where I'm at.
fantastic.
So it was fun to do. I mean, it was something when Rhonda approached me, I was like, no, I'm not that type of person. But what she explained, it was all worth it. And Friday night was it made it. And when we saw the calendar, it was like, that is neat.
Really,
That is
really
neat.
good idea. Now, you've got several firefighters. How did you narrow it down to three, or did you had a hard time getting three?
I've known Kelly
Okay.
since high school, so I felt comfortable asking him, and I've known Travis.
All right.
And so I kind of, went in that direction with those guys, and it was great.
So from concept to finished product, how long was spent?
We started photographing the men the last weekend in February, and it took us probably 3 weeks to get all of the guys photographed, just lining up schedules and such. And then it went into the retouching and design process and finished up just about a week ago. So
I suppose it probably took a lot of time going through each shoot, trying to pick just the right picture. I mean, an hour and a half, you've got a lot of photographs in that amount of time.
We did, and one thing that we were trying to be real conscious of is because we knew we wanted all the guys, with no shirts and black dress pants, but yet we wanted to keep a lot of variety in the calendar. We didn't want that to get redundant, being that they were all dressed the same, so we wanted a lot of variety from the sessions
And
to be
you
able to
did.
work
You've
with.
got some poses on couches, and you've got some poses with flowers, and the three, for fire prevention. That is a great idea. So whose idea was it to come up to have it dedicated to someone that they knew who has been battling cancer?
That was mine.
That was yours, yeah. Was probably what helped you convince them to pose?
Yeah, that was the main thing behind it all.
Yeah,
Yep.
someone who knew.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot easier to do it that way. So.
Right.
That is a great idea. I always have calendars because I like to tear out the pages and put them on the refrigerator to mark what. But I don't think I'm going to be tearing out any pages
tearing that one.
from that. that's for sure.
Probably not
that
so
is
much.
such a good idea. Now, Kelly, so did you get any grief from some of the other
Oh,
firefighters?
yes. There's been a lot of grief. But it's been, I think, more ribbing, understanding what it's all about. Just, again, seeing the support Friday night down in Geneva. And there's been people talking about should have another signing here in Owatonna for down at the Eagles Club in Owatonna, which
Oh,
does
there you
cancer
go.
for
Mm-hmm.
the cancer.
They're another cancer.
So you come by your
options, so.
calendar and get each month signed by the person. What a
And I
great
think
idea.
we were only missing three.
Just a couple guys, yeah.
So most of the people that were in Geneva got pretty much everybody to sign their calendar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of fun to do because you're not used to doing that. But
Now you can say you're a centerfold.
no, I'm not June or July, so I'm not centerfold yet.
Oh, I don't know. At least if the guys rib you about it.
Yes.
So, well, what a fun and great idea.
I just need to say something really quick. This is so touching. The next morning when this came out, a lady came out to my shop and wanted 3 of them, and she started going through it. And as she saw the honored people in there that had passed from cancer, or still battling their cancers, she started to cry.
Oh.
Because she's had one that has passed from cancer, and so she just looked at me and she said, "Thank you, tell Angela thank you." And she said, "Tell these guys thank you."
Yes, I'm sure
It's
everyone's
awesome.
going to be very grateful. And thank you for stopping by
Yes,
and
thank
showing
you.
us that. So real quickly, once again, where can they purchase these?
The hot tanning salons in Owatonna, the bowling alley, possibly Eagles, and there are Geneva Bar and Grill, the Blooming Prairie and New Richland Papers, and the Poorhouse in Clarks Grove, and the Gopher Stop North.
Great. Thank you for stopping by with us. It's always fun.
Thank you.
So stop on out and get your calendar for next year. We're going to take this one last break, and then we have some announcements we're going to pass along.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Jake with Napa Auto Parts.
Napa has the know-how for all your automotive needs.
Napa is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Did you know that it is illegal in the city of Owatonna to host or allow a gathering where minors will be consuming alcoholic beverages on your property or in your residence? Did you know that it is illegal to provide minors with alcohol unless they are your own kids in your own home? Underage drinking leads to increased risk of future chemical dependency, engaging in more serious criminal activity, and becoming a victim of a crime. Please help keep our kids and our community safe by not encouraging, hosting, or allowing underage drinking. This is a message from the Owatonna Police Department and the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County.
Oh, okay, we are back and do have some announcements we want to pass along. Beginning with Metal Art Workshop, which is coming up, is brought to you by the Huber Supply, Art Paths, and Riverland Community College. It's going to be held for 4 weekends beginning June 7th, and it's at Huber Supply, which is at 385 St. John Drive in Owatonna. You can register at Riverland Community College or call Beth at 507-431-2207. And the 35th Annual Young Life Golf Tournament is coming up very shortly. It's a 4-person scramble if you've never been involved in that. And that'll be Saturday the 15th at Brooktree Golf Course. There's lots of prizes for longest drive, closest pin, many things you can earn prizes for. At 8:30 is the shotgun start. The cost is $85 for adults. It includes 18 holes of golf. And for more information, you can contact the Young Life office at 451-9401. Busy time of the year, lots of things going on. We do thank you for joining with us today. We think we had a fun show. Friday, we'll be along with some more interesting guests, so I hope you'll join us then as we wrap up that week. So have a good Wednesday. For Leanne Alt, I'm Betty Johnson, and this has been the Owatonna Today Show.